Enough!
I can take you.
If I can just stand up.
Want to have your clip featured in the Skyrim Clip of the Week? Simply record the clip on your Xbox and then send it to me via message. My gamertag is iRyeni, that's IRYENI, and then you can message it to me over Xbox and I'll be able to view it. I look forward to seeing the clips that you guys send me. Now moving on to the video. Hey, what's up guys, it's Ryan, and welcome back to another episode of Modded Monday. We're on week number 194 now, guys. I've picked out 5 new mods for you guys to check out and perhaps add them to your load order if you find them interesting. But like always, before we jump into them, I want to remind you guys that I'm partnered with GamerSupps, which in my opinion is the best energy drink on the market. Now, I myself used to drink unhealthy gas station energy drinks, but switched whenever I heard about GamerSupps being the healthier choice and alternative. Since then, I've been drinking it regularly, so I reached out and got in contact with them so that we could show you guys the drink and you can try it free if you'd like. If you use my link and the code found in the description, which is RTD, you can get a 10% discount on all your drinks. And if you do end up trying it, definitely let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. Now we can jump into this week's mods, and starting us off we have the Skyrim Bestiary. Now the mod page reads, do you wish Skyrim had a bestiary but don't want to write your own? Here's my solution. Craft bestiary books using creature components gathered from your kills. Sometimes quests or referencing other books will be necessary to complete your knowledge of a species, so good luck collecting them all. With this mod installed, there's 63 new craftable bestiary books covering all creatures in vanilla Skyrim and its DLCs. Completing each bestiary will grant a 10% bonus to attack and spell power against the creature in question. The next version will begin adding pictures to each book as well. Now this mod is largely meant to be a collectible mod, so it's going to require the effort to obtain the bestiary books by going out and doing actual research, by killing creatures in Skyrim, collecting the loot drops they have, and then heading over to the tanning rack, and if you have the necessary materials, then you can craft the bestiary book for that creature. And this isn't just make one book for each animal then it's done, you actually have to upgrade the book up to at least 3 times that I've seen. I think there will be more whenever the mod eventually updates that you can craft, but up to right now you can craft 3, and the first here is just a regular all text book, and then if you get the second version by gathering more materials of the same kind, then you can craft it to the second version of the bestiary book, which adds a little black and white picture, and then finally if you get enough materials to craft the third version of the bestiary book for that specific animal, it'll create a picture and it'll be a full description on everything about the animal. And on top of that, once you've completed that collection for that animal, you now deal 10% more damage to that animal from now on. So it actually does give you more of an incentive to go out and hunt and actually kill these creatures so that you can complete your bestiary collection. With such a useful mod like this, coming in at 8.82 megabytes, it'll fit into any load order seamlessly, and that's why it's featured here at our number 5 spot, so I'd strongly recommend downloading the Skyrim Bestiary mod. Coming in at our number 4 spot, we have the Sparrowhawk Armor. Now the mod page reads that this adds the armor worn by the fearless Sparrowhawk in the Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. It's standalone, female only, and craftable at any forge, and it doesn't require any perks to craft it. It comes in both light and heavy versions to suit both tastes. The armor rating of the light armor version is 30, its carry weight is 10, and it requires leather and leather strips to craft. And then of course you have the bracers with an armor rating of 10, weight of 2, and also crafted by leather and leather strips. Last but not least, there is the boots that have been added, which also have an armor rating of 10, and also 2, and crafted by leather and leather strips. But that's just for the light armor. For the heavy armor, you have an armor rating of 40. For the bracers, there's an armor rating of 15, as well as the boots, and those are actually also crafted using leather and leather strips, so you won't have to go out of your way to find more materials for the heavy armor version. Now, I really like the way that this armor looks. It's a lot more colorful than a lot of the other armors that get added by other mods. I also do want to mention that there's a male patch that adds the Sparrowhawk armor to the males, but I wouldn't really recommend getting it. It's not really that great. You know, it does allow you to put the armor onto a male character, but the armor was really meant for a female, so if you do have a male, I would probably stay away from this armor because it's just going to kind of look odd, but I feel like this was really just meant for a female character. So if you've been looking for a new armor set that has some really high quality textures, but maybe isn't too big in terms of the memory department, then the Sparrowhawk Armor is definitely a mod I'd recommend checking out, because it comes in at 22.57 megabytes, and it adds 2 sets of really great looking armor and colorful looking armor that would pretty much work for any type of character that you would play. And that's why the Sparrowhawk Armor comes in at a number 4 spot, so I'd recommend downloading it. Coming in at our number 3 spot, we have Rorikhofkah. Now the mod page reads that Rorikhofkah, and the dragon tongue or Rorikstead, is now layered with ancient stone structures running above, through, and surrounding the village, and an artistic concept on arena lore, and its argued history in the village of Lainalten. In my mind, I like to imagine the refounding of the village and area by Rorik after the war came about, not just from the use of current magic, but dragon magic. The area being a resting place for the old ones, fused with power, is why the local magic is so potent, making the crops grow. There's also a new follower added by this mod and other surprises for the adventurer to find in Rorikhofkah. Hunt high and low, explore, because there's plenty to find. Now in the compatibility section of this mod, it says not to add any other Rorikstead overhauls because it won't work together, but I actually found that to be not true, because I had the Great Cities mod, which is a mod that just completely reimagines a bunch of the cities around Skyrim, one of them being Rorikstead. This mod is also made by a mod creator called Soldierofwar. I'll also have that linked in the description as well for you guys, as well as Rorikhofkah, but combining them two together actually makes for a giant and amazing looking Rorikstead as well. And in my personal opinion, I think that Rorikstead looks absolutely great now. I think it's a very unique place to go and travel to, and it's definitely a place you won't forget, and there's a couple quests that you have to do throughout Rorikstead, so that'll actually get you to head on over there and get them done just because of the sheer size of this town and how different it looks from any other town in the game. You know, in the vanilla game of Skyrim, I never really went to Rorikstead too much other than to just do some quests here and there, because it's really just not that big of a city or village or anything. It doesn't really look like too much time was put into it, but now that's completely changed with all the new rock formations and unique structures around, and then on top of that adding the Great Cities mod, which completely overhauls Rorikstead. It just completely rebuilds Rorikstead from the ground up, and that's what I really like about the mods together, and that's why it's featured here at a number 3 spot. So I'd recommend downloading the city of Rorikhofkah so that you can reimagine and remaster your Rorikstead. Coming in at our number 2 spot, we have Spellforge, engaging in convenient spell acquisition. The mod page reads, are you tired of crowded spell vendors? Do you want to filter your spell selection by level, school, and subtype, for example fire? Want to feel like a powerful mage making their own spells in a torrent of arcane flames and unleashed power? Stop eating tomes and try out a more immersive, configurable, and fun way to expand your spellbook. Now basically what this mod does is it restructures all of these spells in the game, as well as give you an area to craft your own spells, but first you have to download a base library because it has to know what spells you have. So if you're just running the vanilla spells, you want to get the vanilla version. If you're running Odin, Mysticism, or them together, there's separate types of libraries that you can download that are based on the other types of spell mods that you have. So they've covered a lot of ground in terms of spells here, not just the vanilla ones. So getting started out, if you just have Spellforge and just the vanilla spells in the game and no other ones at all, you'll want to download the base vanilla version of the Spellforge library, just so it knows which spells that you have at your arsenal. But once you have the library as well as the Spellforge mod installed, then you can get started on crafting your very own unique spells. What you have to do is you have to go to any novice vendor, which I just went to Farengar in Whiterun, and he'll sell you the Spellforge manual. Once you open it up, you'll get a choice to configure the mod. Once you're done configuring your settings for crafting spells, it'll automatically add a power to your character that you can just go ahead and use, and it spawns in a new crafting station where you can craft all these spells. You will have to get resin for the more powerful spells, and to get resin you'll just collect ingredients throughout your travels and then put them into the crafting station to experiment on them. There's a chance that it'll give you some resin which you can then use to craft the more powerful spells. This mod is very in-depth and it allows you to pretty much craft any type of spell that you would want, and there's also different spells that are locked behind quest walls, such as the master spells in the College of Winterhold, so you actually have to be training in order to get up to that level, which I think is also very realistic. But this is something that I feel was lacking whenever they created Skyrim, because you know, back in Oblivion, we were actually able to make our own spells in the Arcane University. But whenever it comes to Skyrim, they actually removed that, probably because there would have been too many ways to break the game about it, because Oblivion was very broken in terms of their spell crafting. But if you do it right and you make it so the spells aren't absolutely overpowered, it can be a very fun thing to go and engage in, because you then have to go out and gather all the necessary materials, come back to the crafting station, make sure you have the right skills for it, and then you can craft the book and then read the tome and then cast your very own spell. It makes it a lot more rewarding than just walking up to Farengar, scrolling through a giant list, seeing one that you like, simply buying it, and then boom, you can now cast it all the time. All in all, I feel the Spellforge mod is a very in-depth mod, and it comes in at 2.27 megabytes only, and it does so much in terms of crafting and making your own spells that if you have a mage character or a mage load order on, this would be a perfect addition to it, and I would recommend adding it to it immediately. And that's why it's featured here at our number 2 spot, so I'd strongly recommend downloading the Spellforge mod and giving it a try for yourself. Coming in at our number 1 spot, we have another quest mod called the Grand Paladin. The mod page reads, venture beyond Skyrim into the mists of the Sea of Ghosts, and uncover the legacy of the ancient Dragonborn Order. This ancient legacy includes a battle against 5 unique and challenging bosses. You can obtain new spells and summons, claim a unique and powerful sword befitting the last Dragonborn, and during the 2 hours of playtime, witness and take part in the finale of an old and forgotten tale. The mod is designed for high-level characters. Having more than 300 health is highly recommended, and your character must be able to shout, or the mod will be unfinishable. To begin the quest, find the book with a black cover either in Solstheim or in the Bard's College in Solitude. Now this is a huge new dungeon quest that includes 5 unique bosses, like I said, which you'll be seeing here in a minute. They are absolutely badass looking bosses. And I really enjoyed playing through it. You know, I was only going to scratch the surface of the mod and kind of go into it later, but I actually just got sucked in and wanted to do all the boss fights right away. I was a little underleveled, so I had a very hard time defeating some of them, but it was definitely a great time overall, and the different assets that come down and the animations of all the different rooms that you fight the bosses in, it was a very fun mod, and I think it was very well put together and a lot of effort went into it. So if you're looking for a new dungeon quest mod to explore and spend some time on, and you feel as though you have a high enough level character to take on these new bosses, I definitely recommend giving the Grand Paladin a try, because at the end you get the Sword of Akatosh, and it's just an incredibly badass looking sword that's enchantment is based off of what shout you have equipped, which I think is a very unique enchantment and definitely fits the Sword of Akatosh perfectly. And that's definitely why it's featured here at our number 1 spot, so if you're up for the challenge, download the Grand Paladin and try to get through all of these new tough bosses. So that's pretty much it for this week's episode of the top 5 Skyrim mods of the week. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and if you did, I'd appreciate it if you left a like and subscribe if you're new. It really helps me out a lot. And if you have any suggestions for mods you'd like me to cover in future top 5 mod episodes, be sure to let me know in the comment section below, or you can follow me on Twitter. I'll be sure to leave my Twitter in the description, and you guys can follow me on there and leave me suggestions there as well. Special shout out to my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys have done for me. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and I will talk to you guys later.